Good morning. How are you? Welcome to Wonderland of Possibilities, where anything is possible and magic is real. I love that I tickle myself every time I say that. But welcome to really what I created this for was this willingness and ability to have a conversation about anything. We can come here and we can talk about anything at all. And today I thought maybe because we're coming up on Valentine's Day and a month ago we had the holidays, and I know this time of year can be a little bit weird when it comes to relationships because we're dealing with a lot of family and um, and maybe you're in a romantic relationship, maybe you're not, and maybe that's a source of problem for you. so, um, so just looking at that today and going, okay, if and I know a lot of times we compare ourselves or the way that other people are in order to determine whether we're doing it right. So this reality, this um, says that you have to have 2.5 kids, get married, have a white picket fence, and all of that stuff. And thank you, Renu. Welcome. Uh, and is that actually true? Is that what works for you? Right? Simone Milasas and Brendan created a book says relationship, are you sure you want one? It's an amazing book because it really challenges you to look at, okay, I think I want a relationship. I keep saying I want a relationship, but then you're not choosing one, or you don't have one, or you do relationship different than everybody else, right? Just because you do it different doesn't mean it's wrong. The truth is, Gary Douglas told me this way back, that if I hope I haven't been talking that whole time and nobody's heard me. Can you hear me now? Okay, cool. Okay, thank you. Um, if you cannot hear me, I'd say maybe go away and come back. So sweet. That's awesome. Great. Thank you, everyone, for confirming that you can hear me. So what was I saying? How you do relationship is what works for you. Gary Douglas says a relationship that works is a relationship that works for you. There isn't it's almost like the same thing with food. You know how we all look for the right eating regime or the diet? Maybe you guys didn't, but I did. I think I've tried all of them almost. Not from a dieting standpoint, but from always wanting to heal and make my body feel better. So a lot of us look at somebody else who might do um, an exercise regime and eat a certain way, and and they look great, and we're like, oh, I should do that. But that's what works for their body. The same is true in a relationship. So if it works for you to be in a monogamous relationship, you can choose that. If it works for you to have many relationships, you can choose that. And there is no right or wrong, good or bad here. You can choose whatever is true for you. Now, that being said, if you have family, maybe you have religion that says otherwise, or even your peers or everybody else, if everybody else in your life is like married with kids. So I never had kids. I've been married now twice. I'm engaged to be married for the third time. And I never thought I'd do it again. But I really looked at, okay, does this relationship create greater in my life? but you have to let go of your judgments of you for first of all, and I would recommend returning to sender anybody else's points of view about what you should or shouldn't do. Um, thanks, John. Jonathan says third time's a charm. Maybe. The one thing I do love about Joseph is that he's like, "Are we engaged today?" And I'm like, "Some days yes, some days not." So it's a day by day basis. But that works for me. Like being able to have that freedom to be like, you know what, right now, I don't want to make it significant. I don't want to make it heavy. I just want to have fun. Right. Um, and he doesn't. I told him not to ask me every day because if he asked me every day, he may not get the answers that he wanted. So he doesn't. He does it every once in a while. Like, are we engaged today? It's very cute. But he knows me, right? He read my book. Many of you may have read my book, right? I did a lot of relationships. I did a lot of dating. I've been married multiple times. So, but that's what works for me, right? And I'm glad I didn't cut back or abstain from what worked for me back in the day. I would choose something different now. I am choosing something different now. For now. But like things change. And that's where the wrongness comes in because we think that because we've made a choice, we have to choose that choice forever and ever. Amen. That is not the case, guys. You can make a choice today in this 10 seconds. And if in the next 10 seconds that choice isn't working for you, make a different choice, right? So I really want you, I invite you to really look at this for yourself and go, okay, are my relationships based on what other people think I should do or what they think is right? Or am I choosing against that? Because we can also go into resistance, like, oh, they said I should get married, so I'm never going to get married. Never say never. I didn't think I'd do it a third time. Um, but again, like, it's like what works for you is going to create far greater than anything anybody tells you you should do. And then you get out of the wrongness when you're doing it one different than them, or you're stop making yourself wrong because you're not in a relationship right now, right? Like, do you and I had to look at this for myself many years ago. Like what I would at there was a time where I would prefer to have a bad relationship than no relationship at all. But that was because everybody told me, or society or religion all said it was wrong, or I was weird if I was in a relationship. I'll tell you, some of my most creative, amazing times have been not in relationship. So again, this is a case by case, person by person basis. What works for you? What would you like to choose? What would you like to create? And then go create that. And, who cares what anybody else thinks? This is your life, and you get to choose what works for you. Stop choosing what other people um, think you should choose. And if you stop worrying about what other people think you should choose, you'll actually stop feeling wrong all the time. And Mel says, how do you manage choices in every 10 seconds and engage in relationships? I have never had this kind of question. I've ever had this kind of question in my mind. Well, it's similar to what I do with Joseph. Like I wake up often, not every day, but often and go, okay, truth, is this relationship still working for me? And I personally don't use the word relationship because relationship is the distance between two objects. I say, is this partnership or creationship? And, you may not, relationship is fine. It's not wrong to use the word relationship, but I just say, is this still working for me? Right? Maybe, I don't know, just when it pings me, I go, do I still want to get married? And some days, yes, and some days, no. Yep, absolutely. Manuel, it's being in the question all the time. And being in the question all the time and being present in that present moment. So if you're with somebody, be with them. Don't be on to the next one. Don't be thinking about the last one. Like if you're choosing somebody in this moment, be with them. Be present. And and then you can choose something in the next 10 seconds. And this is across the boards, guys. This is not just romantic relationships, although I know it's kind of up right now. This is also, I know I'm going to not make some friends right now, your family. You do not have to hang out with your family if it is not creating greater for you, if it is not making you feel better. If you leave hanging out with your family feeling like crap, I'd highly suggest not hanging out with those people, not talking with those people. They're just people. And I know, and we're taught, oh, it's their blood and blah, blah, blah. That's not true. You actually do still have choice, but it is your choice whether you hang out with them or not. So I always ask to be around people who are making my life greater and engage with people who make my life greater. And that's family, that's friends, that's people I have on my team, that's romantic relationships, all of it, right? So who could you hang out with that might make your life greater? Manuel says, being present, yes, thanks for that. This is really something that works for me, especially in relationships. Yep, awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you everyone for listening, for those of you who commenting and questions. I'm so grateful for you. I hope you have a magical day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.